Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondor Smith, and today we're going to look into this beautiful forest in the land of Middle-earth. There's going to be no battles, we're just going to take a nice little stroll through this beautiful forest. Oh wait, what is this? No, I take it back, this is not going to be some dandy fine stroll on this fine morning. No, instead this is going to be a brutal battle to the death between the forces of a good and evil. I guess kind of good and evil anyway. There's one small complication with that, but we'll get to that later. So this one is actually a 3 versus 5, kind of a siege, kind of a pitch in some areas, custom scenario. It's actually not even a multiplayer battle. This is actually my first custom scenario that I've ever actually done on this channel, so I'm actually very excited for it. This one was sent to me by the creator of both the map and scenario, and that is, yeah, he's way over here, and that is Isengard, who is commanding one of the attacking Mordor armies. So a big thank you to him for sending this to me. Now you guys, this probably does look very similar to you. That is because that both UMAT Commander and J Monster Total War, who are of course very excellent Reforged YouTubers, actually have both done scenarios of this. But this is one that Isengard actually reworked from those ones, and this one is actually a lot more balanced than those. And he actually told me that it was within 2% when the battle actually ended. So I am very excited to show you this. And also, I must show you right now that there actually is a time limit, so the attackers must try to take out all the defenders quickly, and vice versa. Anyway, without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the army compositions, starting off with Isengard because he was the one who sent it to me. Now, the only rules he told me were that the two flanking Mordor armies, that is the one on the far west, northwest corner up here on the minimap, and the far northeast on the minimap, those two Mordor flanking armies actually were forced to attack in waves. So you can actually see that Isengard has his army all set up in these nice 4 waves. So on his front line, he's got 5 units of Mordor Uryks. Not a bad sword and shield unit. Not incredibly elite either, but they are of course just a medium tier unit. Can actually get a lot of work done if supported well. He's also got 3 units of the Mordor Halberds. They are very nice in AP, however, because they have no shields, they can get skirmished out relatively quickly. Pretty much same goes for these Mordor heavy maulers. Very lightly armored, but can do a great deal of damage in the melee if they're allowed to do so. He's also got one of the Númenor Shield Guard, 2 units of the Bodyguard who have 2 hit points and are AP. He's also got 2 units of the Sauron's Will, who also are 2 hit points with AP. However, these guys do not have shields and are way lower in number than the Bodyguard, but they are very good at killing mid to high tier units as well as lower tiers, so they're just pretty much good at killing everything. He's also got 1 unit of the Morgul Chosen, 1 unit of the incredibly feared Temple Inquisitors, 1 unit of the Temple Guard, which is where his general is. This is basically just the bow unit of the Temple Inquisitors. They also do have a 2-handed sword, which means they are very deadly in melee as well, but not quite so deadly as the Temple Inquisitors, but that is because they do have a bow and arrow instead. He's also got 1 unit of Mordor bows and 1 unit of Olag High. He may have a unit of Númenor Shadow Guard hiding somewhere around here, but I'm not actually too positive about that. Anyway, the next attacking Mordor army is that of Froggy. Now, he is kind of like all jumbled together, but from what I could tell, he's got 1 of the Bodyguard for his general's unit, 1 unit of Mordor bows, some Mountain Trolls, some Mordor Uryks, 1 unit of Morgul Chosen, 3 units of Orc Raiders, and 7 units of the standard Uryks right here, as well as I believe 2 units of Uruk Archers, maybe only 1 though. See, he's got all of his Uryks right here. He's also got 3 units of the Orc Maulers, who, when supported by the Uryks, actually can get a lot of work done because the sword and shield the shield of the Uryks paired with the AP of the 2-handed Orc Maulers can actually do very well against the armored units of the Manish factions. Not too bad against elves either, but then again, elves are elves, and will always do very good against these low mid-tier Uruk units. And the third Mordor army is that of Tundra's Fox, and he's got 2 units of Uruk Archers. Back here he's got, I believe, 4 units of Orc Maulers, 2 units of Orc Raiders, and then way back here he's got 5 units of Uryks, 3 units of Uruk Halberds, 1 unit of Númenor Shield Guard, 1 unit of Morgul Chosen, 1 unit of the Uruk Bodyguard for his general, and 1 unit of Mountain Trolls. So very similar to Froggy's army, but then again, that's pretty unsurprising. These 2 center Mordor armies are relatively lower tier than that of the 2 flanking ones, but then again, these guys do not have to attack in waves, so it should not be too much of an issue for them. And then over here, we've got the final Mordor army being commanded by Lord of Nothing. He's got a very similar armor to the other ones. He's got lots of Mordor Uryks, Sauron's Will, 2 units of Númenor and Shadow Guard, I believe, so a little bit more archer focused than the other Mordor armies. Temple Inquisitors, 2 units of Morgul Chosen, Númenor and Shield Guard. Looks like 2 units of Númenor and Shield Guard, some Uruk Halberds, actually a decent amount of Uruk Halberds, some Mordor heavy maulers, and just a pretty standard Mordor army compared to the other ones, that is. He's also got back here a lot of Uryks, as well as some Uruk Bodyguard. and Mordor Monarchs. So yeah, definitely very cool. We'll go ahead and take a look at the final evil army that is way over here on the, well, kind of behind the whole camp settlement up on that hill. And now that is the army of Pasternak, who is commanding the forces of Isengard. He's got one unit of the Trolls of the White Hand, one unit of the Standard Berserkers, one unit of the Nazkai Bodyguard hidden in here with some Uruk-hai Raiders. The Nazkai Bodyguard is where his general is. He's got 2 units of Uruk-hai Raiders, who are not bad low tier infantry. They actually do have 253 men, which is always nice. I believe maybe 11 or 12 melee attack and 23 defense. So not too bad, especially when used as a support role. He's got 2 units of Uruk-hai Archers, 1 unit of the Guards of Orthanc, and he's got 3 units of both the Uruk-hai Pikemen and Uruk-hai Infantry. He's got 3 units of Uruk Reavers, who are very similar to the Mordor Heavy Mauler of Mordor. I believe he also has 2 to 3 units of the Half-Orc Baneguard, who can hide anywhere, which is why we can't obviously see them. He may also have some Spear Guard in there as well. Now we'll go ahead and now go to the yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's a 3v5, so it's an 8-player battle. Anyway, we'll go to the first of the 3 defending armies that is being commanded. That is Marty Greymantle commanding the army of Gondor. Now, this is not by any means a standard Gondor army, which is one of the cool things that is very nice about the scenarios. You can have kind of cool armies that really you'd never see in multiplayer battles. Now, he's got, I believe, 2 to 3 units of the normal Fountain Guard, as well as 2 units of Shielded Fountain Guard, 2 units of the Wardens of the White Tower, 3 units of Lossarnach Nobles, so a nice bit of AP there. He's got 2 units of Guards of Osgiliath, and I believe 2, maybe 3 units of Citadel Guard. And then way over here, I think, is where his other yeah, Shielded Fountain Guard, as well as Guards of Osgiliath are. He's got the 2nd unit of Wardens of the White Tower there. He's also got 2 units of the Gondorian Winged Swordsmen, who are looking very, very stylish with their nice helmets. They actually, I believe, have... Last time I checked, 42 attack and 42 defense, which is actually the exact same as the Sindar Blade Masters of the Elves. However, I believe they do have a difference in the charge bonus. They also got 1 unit of the Sons of Argonath, who are just a better variant of the Gondorian Swordsmen. However, they do have fewer men in the unit, but they do have hit points and better defense values, but maybe slightly lower attack values. He's also got 1 of the Citadel Bodyguard, who differ from the Citadel Guard by having AP. They also may have a little bit more, they might have 1 more hit point. He's also got 2 units of the Veterans of his Guild with both armor upgrades, who are looking very, very nice. I'm a big fan of these guys. Not incredibly excellent archers, however, they do turn into extremely able infantry once they run out of ammo. They've got 16 attack, 41 defense, I want to say, and 2 hit points. And the shield bonus right here, the shield bonus they have makes them actually very difficult to skirmish down. I believe that's going to pretty much be it for Marty Greymantle. So we'll now go up here to the main settlement and look at the pretty much first defense of all these forces up here. Now we've got actually We've actually got Umbar being commanded by Starling. I believe his general's unit is this of the Naru and Aru Royal Guard. Now, this one actually is technically an evil faction in the Third Age. They were evil, and they really were actually a part of Gondor before the Civil War. They actually split off. They were defeated. I believe they were kind of the revolution type thing, but they were defeated and they were forced to move south, and that is where they became Umbar. So this could possibly be before they kind of turned into Umbar, I guess, but I don't know. This has got the general right there, the Naru Royal Guard. One of the Harbingers of Casimir, 3 hit points, very nice attack and defense values, and can really butcher pretty much any unit in melee. He's also got 2 units of the Abrazenim and Narduzagar, very slow but very deadly shock infantry. 2 units of the Corsair Fencers, who are very fast and very deadly two-handed infantry. They obviously do not have a lot of armor, but they do have hit points and they are AP. Very, very deadly, but they can get skirmished down very, very quickly. And then over here on the first of his ramps, he's got 1 unit of the Naru and Aru Royal Archers, 3 units of the Abrazenim Nardudarik, who are not bad at all. They should never be underestimated. They do have hit points and they are AP with 40-something defense and maybe 15-ish attack. I don't remember exactly because I haven't played Umbar in quite some time. And then over here we've got the rest of his forces. He's got 2 units of the Belagir Halberds, who are a nice mid-tier halberd unit, nicely AP, paired with the Nardudarik or even the Belagir Footmen. They should do very well. He's got 2 more units of the Abrazenim Nardudarik. I believe he had a max of 5. Yeah, he has 5 Abrazenim Nardudarik in total, which in normal multiplayer battles you can actually only have 2 before the price increase, so that's again a very cool thing. And then he's got his 2nd archer unit of the Abrazenim Narduzawid, I don't know, probably butchering that name, but whatever. They're pretty decent mid to low tier archer unit. Not incredibly spectacular, but again, they can get the job done. 2 units of the Belgier Footmen, 2 units of the Customers Chosen, who are a very elite sword and shield unit, similar in many ways to the Wardens of the White Tower of Gondor. However, in multiplayer battles, you can actually bring 2 of them before the price increase, unlike the Wardens. Anyway, we'll now go ahead and take a look at the final defending army, which is that of Dol Amroth, being commanded by Inquisitors. Yeah, anyway, he's got 2 units of the Talon Knights, I believe 4 units of dismounted Swan Knights, which is rather cool. You really never will ever see this many Swan Knights in one battle in one army, but again, that's something that's very cool about scenarios. He's got 1 unit of the Belfast Marines, very, very capable Javelin unit, and they actually do have one-handed axes once they're out of ammo, which means they are AP. More dismounted Swan Knights, 1 unit of the Edhelm Halberdiers, backed up by some Dol Amroth Men-at-Arms in the front. Yeah, he's also got 2 units of the Tirith Air Wardens, and back here is where he's got the rest of his stuff. He's got 1 unit of the Dol Amroth Archers, not a great archer unit, but up on this hill they should do fairly well. He's got some more Dol Amroth Men-at-Arms. I believe he's got like 4 to 5 units of total of Dol Amroth Men-at-Arms, 2 units of the Dol Amroth Pikemen, both with the full armor upgrades. So normally they just have like this cloth and chainmail armor, but now they've got actually some really nice shiny plate. The first unit is up there, and the second is way down here, a little bit further down the hill. And then his general unit is, I believe, somewhere over here. Yes, it is, of course, the very, very deadly Haven Guard, which is where his general is hanging out. Anyway, we'll go ahead and start the battle without any further ado. I feel like I've been talking for too long. Anyway, I do apologize if it's a bit laggy. Again, I haven't really done any scenarios. Well, I actually haven't done any at all. And this is actually a very, very large one to be sure, so we might have a little bit of lag issues, but it shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. You can see right away that Froggy is beginning to move forward his massive horde of Uruks. They're really probably not going to have to fear too much archer fire, because the Naru Royal Archers are definitely not going to want to target something that low tier right away. Over here we've got most of Dol Amroth's forces. You can see that Inquisitors is actually retreating his second unit of Dol Amroth Pikemen further up the hill, because I assume he does not want them to get shot to death by these 2 units of Uruk Archers who are beginning to move forward, backed up by some Orc Maulers. Now the Orc Maulers in the front line is a rather mystifying thing to me, because I would actually consider taking some shots at them with the Dol Amroth Archers, just because the Orc Maulers are AP, and when supported they actually can do pretty decently against the heavily armored units like Dol Amroth has. So I was rather surprised that Tundra's Fox actually did have his front line consisting of Orc Maulers, but he's also got some Orc Raiders in there who do have some shields that should help out the Orc Maulers a little bit. You can see the Pikemen and Men-at-Arms reforming, and actually I forgot, Isengard and Gondor deployed like right next to each other, so we've been missing a little bit of the action, but we're going to get in time just to see the first clash of the front line. We're going to see the Uruk-hai infantry fighting against some guards of Osgiliath, as well as some Citadel bodyguard. Over here you can see the fight has actually already begun in full. Some Lost-Knock nobles already being committed right here. Actually looks like a decent amount of these Lost-Knock nobles had to run away, which is unsurprising though, because the Uruk-hai archers, who are taking some losses from the veterans of Osgiliath, were pretty much instantaneously in range of those nobles who do not have any shields, which means they are going to take some pretty horrendous losses from even a pretty low tier archer unit like the Uruk-hai archers. So yeah, Gondor, that was weird noise. Anyway, Gondor and Isengard, not really 2 factions I see face off too often, but it should be cool, because both, Isengard does have a lot of AP, which is something that Gondor doesn't really have. However, because Marty Greymantle has so much Fountain Guard, as well as the 3 units of Lost-Knock nobles, he should be able to do fairly well. But yeah, this is just an anciently long battle line right here. Really going to be a very, very bloody fight. So I'm very excited for it. You can see the Half-Orc Vanguard has come out from hiding and are in a full fight against the guards of Osgiliath and Fountain Guard. All across the board, though, it looks like Gondor is having to commit a lot of their reserves early on. They've already committed all of their Lost-Knock nobles. It looks like they're even committing some Gondorian Winged Swordsmen. They've actually got 1 unit of Lost-Knock nobles here, though, but they are committing one of their 2 units of Wardens of the White Tower right here. You can see the line is actually beginning to thin. Isengard is really, really pushing here. Oh, and the lag. I think I might not move the camera just for a little bit. I'm hoping the lag will get a little bit better once more of the units start to die off. But while the fight over here continues, I think I'll go ahead and take a look way over here where you can see that both Esgal Nordir, Tundra's Fox, and Froggy have begun the fight, it looks like, in melee. Ooh, yes. It has begun very largely, and as the lag spikes insanely, you can see Castamir's Chosen, Belagir Footman, Abrazen, and Nardurik all fighting against these, just this horde of Mordor, Esgal Nordir actually might have sent all 5 of his, no, it's like, I take it back, he had more, he has a lot more. At least 3 units of the Mordor Arcs were already sent forward. They have taken some pretty heavy losses because Castamir's Chosen and the Abrazen and Nardurik will be able to do very well against those rather mid-tier units of Orcs, especially because the Nardurik are actually AP, so they should do very well. Over here you can see, oh my gosh, you can see lag. Over here you can see that the Orc Maulers and Orc Raiders have taken some pretty hefty losses to the Dol Amroth Archers, and they actually are already fighting against some Dol Amroth arms right here. Oh my gosh, the lag. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and change the grass to low, and maybe the vegetation to low as well, just because it's getting a little bit. That should help a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna help that much. Anyway, well, no, it didn't help. Over here you can see that Lord of Nothing is beginning his assault over here on the other flank of Dol Amroth. However, Dol Amroth does have a very large portion of his forces here, so he should be able to do with it reasonably well. He also does have these stakes here to help him out a little bit, which is actually going to force Lord of Nothing to only come in through these 2 choke points on this whole ramp here rather than the whole thing. But we'll see how it goes. You can see his first wave is consisting mostly of Mordor Urks, with also some halberds in there. So nothing too elite. The Dol Amroth forces should be able to deal with that reasonably well. And we'll take a look how Gondor versus Isengard is going on. Looks like looks like looks like Gondor is really starting to thin out pretty well right here. You can see that the lines are starting to buckle. However, they've got a nice thick line of elites. It looks like they've had to commit a lot of their forces already, but then again, that is unsurprising because of how close they actually deployed. And you can see that the Guards of Orthanc of Pasternak were actually able to push straight through the thin point of this line right here. I don't know if Gondor has anything to stop it. I mean, he does have these Veterans of Osgiliath here, but he probably wants to keep them firing as long as possible. But if he wants to prevent this line from falling any further than it has, he's probably going to have to commit them in melee. But he may have some units in reserve over here that I can't actually see. It doesn't look like it. He's got some Western Arc Nobles. Ooh, yeah, over here, the line is again very, very thin. You can see that these Lost Arc Nobles are actually facing the wrong way and cut down, and these Foundguard and Shielded Foundguard are having a very tough time of it right here against the Uruk-hai Raiders and Pikemen. I do not know actually if the Uruk-hai Archers have really taken a beating. I don't know if the Nazkai Bodyguard have been committed in melee. They probably are, which is not really that surprising. Yes, you can actually see that the veterans may be starting to get committed in melee. No, this is where they're not, but this is where the Nazkai Bodyguard are being committed, or have been committed. You can see they have just pretty much broken straight through this thin line right here of Lothernok Nobles, and they're starting to wrap around. This does not bode well at all for Gondor. And while they do have a nice portion of troops right here, but on both flanks, these Guards of Osgiliath, Shield Foundguard, and Wardens of White Tower, they are getting surrounded not only by the Nazkai Bodyguard, but also by the Guards of Orthanc, so they're going to have a very tough time here. But it does look like the Veterans of Osgiliath do have a very nice shot to fire at these Nazkai Bodyguards. You can see they're firing right into the backs and flanks of them, so hopefully the Veterans will be able to kick them out of time. You probably can tell that I'm kind of rooting for the big guys in this, but then again, I do like Gondor a lot. They're definitely my favorite faction. You can see that where Gondor is seemingly the strongest is definitely where these Sons of Argonath have been committed. They're going to rack up a lot of kills, trust me. I would consider, I don't know, because I was going to say, I might just slow down a little bit, because even though it obviously is going to take a little bit longer, the lag might be a little bit less. Anyway, I was going to say that, the Berserkers are here as well. Yeah, the Berserkers were just absolutely butchered by the Sons of Argonath and Dorming Swordsman. But I was going to say that Marty Greymantle might consider using these Sons of Argonath to flank around either these units of Uruk Reavers and Uruk-hai, just to try to swiftly crush this buckling right here and to help out that far flank. but he might actually end up having the exact same problem that Pasternak is having to face with his Nazgûl bodyguard, and that's going to be getting shot in the back by skirmishers. So if Margrave Mantle is going to continue to do this, he's going to have to use his veterans to target down those archers before his very elite unit of Sons of Argonath is taken out by skirmish fire. You can see that he's actually going to charge down the archers, which I'm not sure if is a very wise move because the Sons of Argonath are rather slow. You can see right here that Gondor, although they have been thinned considerably, the Isengard forces are by no means having a very good time of it. You can see that they actually have begun to thin themselves. Really, they've got a lot of pikemen here, but besides that, they don't have too much left. I feel like Gondor's probably going to come out in the top of that, come out the victor in that fight, but we'll see. Also, I forgot to mention that. Oh, each retreat is hidden guard. Interesting, but Dol Amroth might actually have a unit of Nimberdale Rangers. I don't know. There didn't really seem to be any very many skirmishers. We've only like 2 archers per team, really. But we'll see. See Corsair Fencers of Starling. Oh yeah, Corsair Fencers are definitely going to be needed here. You can see that Esgal Norder is really pushing here, showing the massive just the amount of mass that Mordor really has to offer with their huge amounts of troops per unit. They're just really pushing through this front line of Umbar right now. They're just an absolute horde here. I'm sure that Starling is really wishing he had a bit more skirmish power right now, especially if he had something like the Corsair Blackguard, which is a very devastating javelin. That'd be very good for him to have right here, but I do not believe he actually has any. Yeah, he's going to have to commit his Corsair Fencers here. Trying to stop this huge push right here. He's also committed Belagir Halberds. Looks like most of his front line of Castamir's Chosen and Eberzen Narduderik has been really thin, but we'll see how that fight goes on in a second here. Take a look now over here on his other front. It looks, oh my gosh. Holy, what happened here? The Eberzenum Narduderik have just pushed down like bosses right here. Looks like they're actually being backed up by some Eberzenum Narduzagar as well. You can just see the huge pile of dead Uruks right there. However, he's going to have to be careful of not making sure he doesn't push down too far, because that, of course, would be very bad. Oh, you can actually see that the Uruk Archers of Tundra's Fox are now in position to fire at the very missile-susceptible units of Dol Amroth pikemen. I mean, their armor upgrades will help them out a little bit, but being pikemen, they are going to struggle against missile fire. I would consider moving at least one unit, at least a little bit forward, just to help out these Dol Amroth men-at-arms, and also, in doing so, help out a little bit against the skirmish fire. We'll take a look now over here at Dol Amroth's second flank, I could say. Yeah, there's just a very slow fight going on here. Ed Helland Halberdier is very strong. Not really very surprised that there's only one unit of them. However, it looks like the Dol Amroth men-at-arms are doing the brunt of the fighting right here. They're doing the biggest portion of it. There's also one unit of dismounted Swan Knights backing up these 2 tier air wardens. Looks like these Swan Knights are actually pushing out in shield wall against these halberds, not wanting to just sit there and get poked to death, which is going to be interesting, especially because you can see that Lord of Nothing is sending forward a lot more units. Looks like 5 units. More heavy maulers, more shield guard, and some more halberds. So a lot of shock, well, 2-handed units. Oh yeah, here are the Nimberdale Rangers. Hopefully these guys will be able to take advantage that the second wave of Lord of Nothing's troops are primarily unshielded units. Ooh, we'll take a look over here. I don't know what happened to all the trolls of the White Hand. I assume they were just taken out, but it looks like Isengard is starting to crumble. You can see that veterans of Osgiliath actually broke through the line here and are cutting down the last of the Uruk archers. Sons of Argonath are also chasing some archers down. But I would really consider bringing the archers back, or not the archers, but the Sons of Argonath back, just because they're so elite and very good. Might be able to help out this flank right here, but for the most part, it looks like Gondor is starting to win kind of all across the board. These pikemen are going to be pretty tough to take out, but for the most part, I think that Gondor will be able to pull out on top of this. Veterans of Osgiliath having a very tough time of it against the Nazgûl bodyguard, who are still at 35. That's going to be the real issue right here that Gondor's going to have to face, is those Nazgûl bodyguard. However, if they're able to take out the rest of Pasternak's forces quickly, they will be able to just pretty much completely surround those Nazgûl bodyguard and take them out without suffering too many losses. Looks like the what's left of the Urkai archers 9. Not gonna do too much damage, but so I hope that Marty Mantle does not waste too much effort trying to chase them down, especially because he doesn't have any cavalry. But so far it's been a very, very excellent battle. So far I've really enjoyed it. Abrazenim and Narduzagar being committed over here. Mordor on bows marching around. Don't know what they're trying to do exactly. Probably just a accidental thing. Maybe a loss of micro. But looks like Starling is having some real issues over here against Esgal Nordir. Most all of his forces, although they've gotten a lot of kills, have really been thinned out considerably. He's really feeling the pressure right here. You can see that Esgal Nordir, well, Starling is, yeah, feeling the pressure right here. Esgal Nordir is trying to flank around these Belliger Halberds with his Mordor heavy maulers. But these Abrazenim and Narduzagar should be able to stop that flank reasonably well, although it looks like they're actually going to go after the Narduzagar themselves. He's also brought back his Corsair Fencers, probably going to try to plug up the holes. Oh! I did not think that the Mordor bows would be able to have that good of an angle. Because while the Mordor bows do not really have that much accuracy, like very little accuracy actually at all, they do have 11 missile damage, which is actually very considerable considering the fact that the highest tier Gondor archer unit only has 9 missile damage. Bow unit, by the way. I'm not talking about javelins. Over here, though, Belgier Halberds with some Narduderik are still holding pretty strongly. Well, no, I take it back. I was going to say, they're holding decently right here. But over here, you can see that they're really, really thin, and which is why Starling is actually going to commit his Corsair Fencers. Not a bad idea at all. But we'll take a look over here, which was, again, a very, very strenuous point. Choke point. The one that, oh my gosh, yeah, the one that Umbar is pushing down hard on. You can see that his second Abrazenim Narduzagar is here, as well as his Harbingers of Castamere, just butchering those Uruks by the drove. I don't know what happened to the 3 of Abrazenim Narduzagar that were here. I don't seem to see any shields among these dead. Oh no, there are some. Looks like some of the Narduzagar fell here, but they may have been committed on the other flank. Over here, though, looks like Dol Amroth is having a pretty tough time of it. It is a mistake by Engsfitz to fire at these numerous Shield Guard of Tundra's Fox, because they are a Spearman unit, which means not going to get a ton of kills, and while they are relatively elite, it's just like I said, Spearmen won't get a lot of kills, and because of their shields, they're not going to take very many casualties either. Actually looks like the Mountain Trolls are being committed. Engsfitz does have a decent amount of troops here, but he needs to plug up this hole right here as quickly as possible. I would definitely consider bringing over this unit of Talon Knights. You can actually see he's bringing over his unit of Dismounted Swan Knights as well. And I do believe it was a mistake to retreat his Haven Guard all the way over here. I assume he's just like bracing for a last stand or something, but this early in the game I think that's rather unnecessary, especially when you could use these Haven Guard to help plug holes in your line. We'll take a look over here at what's going on between Isengard and Gondor. It looks like Gondor is has pretty much dealt with Isengard, but they have taken quite a few losses doing it. You can see they're pretty much wrapping around the last of Isengard's infantry. Sons of Argonath flanking around those Viking, that's going to not be good for them. There's still 29 Nazgûl, 27 Nazgûl bodyguard. But that's pretty much the only deadly thing that Isengard has left. So a very, very long battle line right here. Sorry if the trees are looking a little two-dimensional and digitalized, but again, the lag was getting a little too intense for me. Actually, that looks like a very nice thumbnail for the video. I might actually go ahead and put the graphics of the vegetation up just for the thumbnail, and then we'll go ahead and go back to the digitalized trees. Actually, no. Pixelate the trees. Anyway, I think we're good. It should be okay. We'll try it like this for now. But yeah, over here, really the only point that Isengard was looking very strongly, except for where the Nazgûl bodyguard were, is beginning to crumble. The Fountain Guard and Shielded Fountain Guard are, along with the Lost Knuckles, are starting to take out the last of these Archite Pikemen and half-orc Bane Guard. We'll take a look over here now at the other flank of Dol Amroth. Again, looks like the Dol Amroth men-at-arms are kind of being left out by themselves, not really being supported by the Edhelm Halberdiers, which I believe is a mistake by Engsfitz. He probably should either retreat his Dol Amroth men-at-arms or maybe push his Edhelm Halberdiers a little bit forward. It seems kind of like a waste of life to just kind of leave your Dol Amroth men-at-arms out here. And they're going to do okay, but eventually they will get stun locked to death, as you can see that these two poor fellows are suffering that fate right now. Teams of tier their wardens will be able to hold very long, but again, Spearmen that killing. However, those are a rather high tier unit of Spearmen, so they should do okay. Mountain Trolls still fighting over here. Looks like there's some dismounted Swan Knights. Looks like Dol Amroth has kind of turned the fight around now. They're kind of doing a little bit better than they were, but I mean, there's still a huge portion of Orcs and Urks back there that Tundra's Fox is just keeping in reserve. And there goes the Isengard General, killed by a Gondorian winged swordsman. How about that? Oh man, I love Gondorian. I can't wait for this match. Anyway, Harbingers of Castamere and Isengard Retreats starting to get a little overwhelmed, but they seem to be doing fine nonetheless. Over here, where Sterling is actually still struggling rather heavily, you can see that the Naru and Naru Royal Arch, as well as the Aberzen and Eurowib, have a very nice position to fire into the flanks of all the units that Asgard are sent up here. But for the most part, Starling is still struggling very hard right here. You can see that the constant pressure applied by these hordes and hordes of Orcs and Urks has really started to take the toll, taking a toll on Umbar's forces. Really, all he's got here are his elites, like some Aberzen and Narduzagar and his Corsair Fencers. You can actually see that the Sauron's will of Isengard have been committed. There's also some Corsair. Oh, there are Corsair Blackguards. Okay, Corsair Blackguards are the Javelin unit. They're marching over here, ready to help out, but it's just going to be very difficult, because if he's forced to use his javelins here, that means he's not going to be able to use them on anything like the Olog High, Temple Guard, Temple Inquisitors that all of the Mordor armies have in rather abundance. You also got the Naru and Naru Royal Guard here. This is a very elite spearman unit. Is AP in melee and has multiple hit points, but it's also the general unit, so he does have to be careful to not lose his general there. Oh, let me see here. It's a very large battle. I like it a lot. I like how spaced out it is. It's very nice. You can actually see that Engsfitz is committing one of his units of Talon Knights here. Not totally surprising, just because the huge horde of Mordor forces right here, just all along this ramp. I'm sure that the defenders are just aching right now with the fact that they don't have very many archers. Because just imagine if you just had like 2 or 3 units of like Blackroot Vale archers here, or maybe just even Dol Amroth archers, or Tier 3 marksmen just pouring arrows into the flanks of these enemy units right here. But again, it is still a very cool battle. I like the ones that don't have tons of archers or tons of cavalry. It's kind of interesting just to see a lot of infantry fighting. Over here, it's really just looks like it's been much of the same. Looks like that unit of Dol Amroth men-at-arms has been pretty much completely taken out. Second wave of Lord of Nothing is just kind of sitting there at the bottom of the hill. And over here, Gondor is just sweeping up the what remains of Isengard's forces. However, even though he was able to take out Isengard, he did it with a very hefty losses. So while he will be able to send his surviving units over to help out, hopefully Umbar, because that seems like the weakest point right there. Yeah, I'm hoping that he'll be able to send his units over to Umbar, but he's gonna have to. He might consider waiting a while just to get his, just for his units to kind of rest up after this long fight with the Urkai of Isengard. Two pikemen versus 3 Citadel Guard. Let's see what happens. Looks like the spearmen are having a bit of a tough time of it. There we go. Now they're getting a nice rhythm. Anyway, we'll come back and look at that later, but for the most part, it has definitely been a victory for Gondor over there. Well, I say for the most part, but it really has been entirely a victory for Gondor over there. Might have been a few mistakes made by him, but for the most part, he did very well. Ooh. Mordor is really having to commit a lot of units over here. Tundra's Fox is committing a ton over here. I mean, he does not have, by any means, one of the most elite Mordor armies, but he still has lost a lot of troops here. Esgal Nordir is definitely, I feel, doing the best out of all the attackers. But again, he did seem to have the most elite army. You can actually see he's got some shield guard up here now. But Umbar is just holding on by a thread right now. I mean, they have really thinned out this this wave of Mordor forces, but there are even more coming behind. And this looks like it's the 2 units of Uruk bodyguard, which is going to really bode evil for the Umbar forces, mostly just because they are multiple hit point units with AP and melee. So they're gonna have to struggle very, very hard here, and it's probably going to mean that Starling's going to have to either bring his Corsair Blackguards back here, along with his Naru and Naru Royal Guard, or he's going to have to just completely retreat, and his allies are going to have to set up a defense somewhere over here. However, if he does that, if they do that, it's going to kind of leave this General's unit of Haven Guard out to dry. Although the attackers might not notice it, so I don't know. Again, I don't know why he brought his Haven Guard over there, but whatever. It's okay. Very cool map. I like it. Okay, now we've got the Edhelm Halberdiers fighting. You can see they're getting pushed pretty hard by these Mordor Mordon Uruks, but the Edhelm Halberdiers are incredibly strong halberd unit. They're rather like pikemen that are AP, so they should be able to take out these Mordor Mordon Uruks with relative ease. You can see the ooh, those Uruks are dropping pretty quickly. But over here, you can see that the Tier 3 Wardens have taken a few. Yeah, this unit has actually taken a lot of losses. This one's down to 70 now. The other one's still at 120. Starting to struggle against those Mordor Mordon Uruks, but he's got a lot of reserves back here too, so it should be okay. Over here, though, the main fight that Dol Amroth is engaged with. Oh my gosh, I just come over the hill and there's just like so many Uruks and Orcs right there just sitting, just waiting, just biding their time. But for the most part, it looks like the fight over here is really in Dol Amroth's control. Let's take a look at the percentage actually. For the most part, the attackers are losing the percentage battle by quite a lot. However, the attackers have a lot of elites left, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this turns out, especially because, yeah, it looks like Town Knights are going over there to help Umbar, but right here, if they can apply the pressure right here, the attackers will be able to just bust through these 2 elite units of Umbar and just continue all the way up this hill. So Starling is going to have to be very careful here, especially because you can see that there's some mountain trolls from Froggy and some Uruk archers from Tundra's Fox marching over here. So if the attackers are able to press their advantage of the low number of defenders there, they should be able to have a better time of it than they have had so far. Over here, oh yeah, right here the attackers are definitely winning. You can see that Starling has lost a lot of forces. He's just barely hanging on right now. Corsair Fencers, very low in number. Aberzetum and Arduzagar only at 45. And behind, you can see all the elites of Esgal Nordir, that being the Olag High, Temple Guard, Temple Inquisitors, Mortal Chosen, and the Mordor Mordon Bows as well. He's got 2 units in Mordor Mordon Bows, but for the most part, Esgal Nordir has taken some pretty horrendous losses here. He's basically just got his 2 units of archers and all of his elites left over that hasn't been committed yet. So yeah, Uruk Bodyguard and Mordor Mordon Halberds here, as well as the Shield Guard. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting fight. I'm very excited to see who will win this. You can see the time, though, is starting to go down a little bit more than half left, probably 2/3 left, time-wise. Corsair Blackguards, Naru Royal Guard retreating still. I'm kind of confused as to where they're going. They may just be trying to get into a smaller choke point. But I don't know. You can actually see that all of the the victorious Gondorian forces are actually marching forward now, or beginning to march forward now up this hill, to hopefully help out that one point that Umbar is really struggling with. They've got a lot of depleted units, and I don't know why he's just stopped the march. Maybe just lost a micro along his troops, but he does have actually a decent number of units, just they're all around half or less strength, so it's going to be very interesting to see how much damage this what's left of this Gondor army will actually be able to do. I don't know where the Sons of Argonath though are actually. I want to try to find them because they're like a very, very nice unit. I like them a lot. Oh my gosh, just look at that battle line. That's intense. I like that a lot. Anyway, is this the... Is that the, No, I have no idea where the, got no idea where these Sons of Argonath are. Oh wait, they just appeared on the map. They're probably just hiding. Anyway, take a look now at the fight going on between the last straggling units of Umbar. Abrazan and Isengard, of course, a very, very elite unit. Can get a lot of kills. They don't really even have to be supported to do it, but they're actually very, very slow too. But in a choke point, it doesn't really matter at all. Not AP, but they don't really need it. They've got very high attack and defense values. Multiple hit points, so they should be okay here. I mean, obviously they've taken a lot of losses, but still. Over here, the last of the Corsair fencers have been, are getting cut down. Ooh, nice kill there though for one. Yeah, Corsair fencers are a very good unit, but oh, excuse me. Been sickly. Sorry about that. Anyway, looks like the Harbingers of Castamere as well as the Abrazan and Isengard are actually retreating. But again, I believe that it looks like the Uruk archers are taking advantage of the fact that these guys don't have any shields. And they're just hammering volley after volley right into the back of these very expensive, very elite shock infantry units. Very, very well, very, very good play right there by Tender's Fox. But they should be able to retreat far enough to avoid some of the archer fire. And here you can see that Tender's Fox has committed a lot more of his infantry right here, but he's still got a decent amount in reserve. Dol Amroth has taken out most of the trolls, but there are still some left over. Dol Amroth archers are out of ammo. Morgul Chosen are sitting back there, probably about to be committed. I would consider using these pikemen to kind of help out right here. These Dol Amroth men-at-arms seem to be struggling a bit, but I don't know. Take a look now over this way. Where you can see that most of the Tirthair Wardens are still alive, but they're not doing terribly great. You can see that Engsfitz has actually committed some dismounted Swan Knights here. They'll be able to definitely kill the Mordor and Uruks quicker than the Tirthair Wardens will be able to do so, so that's nice. The Lord of Nothing really has a lot left. He's got a ton left. He's got some Mordor Maulers, Halberds, and then back here he's got actually a decent amount of archers. He's still got his 2 units of Numenorean Shadow Guard, the 2 Sauron's Will, 2 Morgul Chosen, Inquisitors. So he's got a lot of elites back here as well as some Earth Bodyguard. Take a look over here now. I mean, we can just see the masses of dead Umbar and Mordor troops right here. I don't know what's going to go on here though, actually. Mostly just because while Esgal Nordir has pretty much won on this front, he does not seem to be really pressing his attack quite yet. Probably just because he knows he does not have that much left in terms of mid-tier units. He's still got a decent amount of elites, but he probably wants to wait at least a little while for his allies to start breaking through a little bit, because otherwise he would just get taken out and surrounded fairly quickly. You can see that some more Umbar forces are here. Pretty much all he's got left really. It's Narnar Royal Guard, Narnar Royal Archers. Of course, there are Blackguards who just went into hiding, and then he's got his 2 units of shock infantry over here somewhere. Belfast Marines are retreating. There's his shock infantry. But I'm rather confused by what Umbar is doing. If I was Umbar, I would bring my units over here to where Dol Amroth is fighting, because while Dol Amroth is starting to struggle a little bit now, if he's not going to go over here and at least help protect the flank of Dol Amroth, then that means that Esgal Nordir will be free to send forward all of his elites over here and just kind of wrap around this defensive Dol Amroth and pretty much crush it very quickly. So a very interesting fight going on, and still Gondor is kind of lagging about bringing forward his units. I don't know if there was maybe a rule that he could only like march them forward a little bit at a time, because that is certainly what he's doing. But I don't know. We'll see what's going on later. Maybe Gondor wasn't intended to win that fight. No, I'm just kidding. Sons of Argonath still at 58, very elite unit, but they've been in the fight for quite some time, so I'm sure their hit points are probably better than them. Let's see here. Belfalas Marines, very, very nice javelin unit. As I already said before, they actually are AP in melee, which is always very, very nice. And their javelins can obviously do a lot of damage. See, Asgard Nordir is now pressing his attack. He's bringing forward what's left of his front, his last wave. I assume that's actually why he hasn't committed all of his elites just yet, because he does, after all, have to attack in waves. So once these scraps of units are taken out, he probably will send forward all of his elites. Over here, Dol Amroth is still holding relatively firm. Yeah, very firm actually against Mordor, but you can see that now that all these units have been taken out pretty much with the exception of these 74 Mordor Urks, Lord of Nothing is going to commit his next wave of troops, which, as I said before, consists of mainly shock infantry and unshielded units. So if those Numerdal Rangers still do have ammo, I would definitely consider firing it. However, there are of course the Numerdal Shadow Guard that you have to worry about, so I don't know. It's going to be very difficult decision. But the Mordor Heavy Maulers are by no means a cheap unit. They're like 650 florins each, so I think it would be rather worthwhile to take at least a couple of odds off on them. Oh, yeah, over here Dol Amroth is definitely starting to struggle against Thunderous Fox. You can see the Immortals Chosen are just pushing their way straight through. Uruk Halberds, and Shield Guard, the Pikemen are starting to get surrounded. There's still some dismounted Swan Knights holding relatively firm, but not for much longer, because you can see at this ramp right here that the two very elite units were holding all by themselves was just left completely open to the attackers. So these Uruk archers and the Uruks, the scraps of these units of Uruks, are going to be able to come back around here and attack these Ornith forces in front and behind. If the Uruk archers are able to get some volleys off into the back of these dismounted Swan Knights, it's going to be very, very good for the attackers. But let's see if Thunderous Fox will actually take advantage of that. Hopefully he will. Looks like that's what he might be doing. Or he might still be chasing down the Harbingers of Castamere, which is, again, is a very good idea because these guys are super elite. Looks like for the most part, though, all of the defenders are actually kind of doing like a full-on retreat almost. Besides the one bridge right there, it looks like most of them are doing just a full-on retreat. Over here to where the Haven Guard are, you can see that the what's left of the Umbar forces are standing here ready to meet these scraps of Asgard Nordir's forces of that one wave. But for the most part, they seem to be completely retreating over here to meet up with for a last stand with these Haven Guard. But I don't even know if that's really necessary, because they still do have a decent amount left, and especially if they are able to have Gondor come up here and help them out. But it'll be interesting to see if Gondor decides to either just attack the attackers, or if they're going to actually just go up on that hill with the rest of the defenders. So yeah, it does look like he did actually have 3 units of Citadel Guard, and then 1 unit of Citadel Bodyguard, which I don't actually know where the Citadel Bodyguard is, to be honest with you. Unless it's like completely dead, except for like the general himself or something. Because I did not actually see the cover of that. Interesting. Yeah, very slow approach by Gondor, but again, that may have been a rule. Again, I do apologize if my voice sounds weird. Again, I'm sick, which would be rather unfortunate. But again, that's just how it goes. Narrow Royal Guard in this small choke point. As long as they don't get shield wall pushed, which seems to be what's happening right here, we'll be able to hold for a very long time, especially being backed up by these Talon Knights. But it looks like they are going to get shield wall pushed by the shield guards. We'll see how it goes. I think Spitz might want to consider committing those Talon Knights rather than just having them just sit there, and because the Naru Royal Guard will be able to do very much better if they are supported. But then again, that might be what the Harbingers of Castamere are coming over to do. Eberzenim and Narduzagar are sitting there, and the Uruk archers are firing their missiles at what? Oh, okay, I was very confused there. I was like, what is he even firing at? But no, he's firing at the Nimerdal Rangers, which is actually a very good target, because they are very, very deadly. They are actually AP in melee, but you can see that they're very lightly armored, taking pretty horrendous losses from a very low tier archer unit. Also, they're not in loose formation, so they're going to take even more losses from that. I would consider putting these guys in loose formation and then running them away. You might take a little bit less losses doing so. Arc Bodyguard running around, because it looks, yeah, it does look like Dol Amroth has been pretty much completely overwhelmed right here by Tundra's Fox. All he's got, looks like, is some dismounted Swan Knights. We're actually doing reasonably well considering how much they're outnumbered, but all across the board, it looks like Dol Amroth is actually trying to retreat, but they're kind of getting stopped. You can see these dismounted Swan Knights are having to face these Arc Bodyguards that had broken through that one ramp. At Halberdiers look like they're trying to retreat, but if they don't go out of spear wall formation and run, they're probably not going to make it. And over here we've got one unit of dismounted Swan Knights and the Tier 3 Wardens trying to hold back Lord of Nothing's forces long enough for the rest of Engspitz's forces to retreat and hopefully get up onto that nice hill position over there. Then again, yeah, it looks like the Halberdiers may be running out. The timer's halfway out, so they're gonna really have to pick up the pace here if they want to hold on. I'm gonna try normal speed for a bit. Looks like it's a little bit less lagging now, so that's nice. Swan Knights, dismounted Swan Knights are gonna struggle against the Urk Bodyguard, but they'll be able to do much better than, say, like Dol Amroth or anything like that. Especially because they do have hit points. Really the only thing they don't have that the Urk Bodyguard do have is the AP anyway. So we'll see how they go. We'll see how it goes. Looks like there's actually some more Swan Knights being committed here. No, they're running away. Okay, good, good. I was like, why would you even bother retreating then? Only to help out here. But then again, this seems to be the more healthy unit of dismounted Swan Knights. This one is definitely more bloodied up and has seen more action, so I don't know. Maybe he will actually use this unit to help destroy this Urk Bodyguard. But if he's not quick about it, then he's going to get overwhelmed by all these, all of Tundra's Fox's army that has pretty much dealt with these dismounted Swan Knights right here. I think Sphinx had a lot of dismounted Swan Knights, that's for sure. He had like four or 5 units of them or something. Which is cool because in normal multiplayer battles they cap out at like 2. Our Royal Guard have taken a decent amount of losses here. Again, I don't know why Town Knights aren't being committed unless he's just waiting to retreat them, but okay, yeah, he's just retreating. The Nimberdale Rangers are really having a tough time of it. Now they're being skirmished down by the Mordor on bows, and it looks like Temple Guard are also being brought forward. The attackers definitely have a lot of skirmish power left, and that is definitely for sure something that the defenders do not have, besides maybe the Blackguards. Looks like the Abrazanim, Narduawid, and the Narunar Royal Archers still do have some ammo left. They've been firing for a long time, so I don't know how much longer they'll actually be able to keep up that fire rate. Olaghai now being committed against the Narunar Royal Guard, who really are just being left out to dry. You can see the Umbar General just taking a beating right there. And it looks like Gondor actually has managed to arrive now, so they probably... Looks like they're going to retreat fully. Yeah, there goes the Umbar General. Looks like the Gondorian forces are going to retreat fully with the rest of the defenders, but I would definitely consider... No, I don't know, because they've already retreated so much, I feel like you just have to commit and just retreat everything anyway. But it was rather interesting for me to see that they actually did retreat so much. And Helmed Halberdiers going to help out these 2 units of dismounted Swan Knights, maybe? No, it's only 1 unit of dismounted Swan Knights, sorry. The other one is over there. Against Urk Archers. Urk Archers will get pretty much obliterated by the Swan Knights, dismounted Swan Knights. However, with the presence of these 2 units of Urk Halberds, they should be able to prevail against the Swan Knights eventually. Although not without taking heavy losses. Yeah, I don't know if the Helmed Halberdiers are trying to fight or if they're trying to retreat. I don't know if Engspitz's has really made up his mind about that quite yet. Over here, it looks like Gondor is committing some of his units that are lower in number. Probably not really trying to help out the Narunar Royal Guard because that's really too late, but maybe just trying to slow down these Mordor forces long enough for the rest of his units to meet up with all the rest of the defenders. You can see that the Nimberdale Rangers are still firing. Veterans of Osgiliath probably are out of ammo, but I do not know. Also, the Knocked Nobles that have been committed here will actually be able to do reasonably well against all of Osgiliath's forces, mostly just because they are AP and have like 30 attack, 28 defense. So, definitely a good unit to try to go after these Olaghai, who still are at think they still have most of the trolls left. 6 left, it looks like. Out of 9, I believe is what they have originally. Citadel Guard not being committed. 2 units of Citadel Guard, actually. So very interesting defense, because, like, they're holding back Esgal Nordir here, but if they don't take advantage of this one choke point, then that means they're going to have to, like, set up a very, like, stretched, thin defense all around here if they want to keep these units alive. But then again, these units right here may just be here to hold back Esgal Nordir long enough for all the rest of these troops to get here, but it doesn't look like it, because it actually looks like Starling and Gondor and Marty Greymantle actually bring some of their units back out. You can actually see both units of the Gondorian Winged Swordsmen seem to be wanting to be committed over here, but I don't quite know actually. Mortal Chosen seem to be having some troubles getting around those stakes, but that's okay, they're orcs, they'll figure it out eventually. Ed Helland Halberdiers and Dismounted Swan Knights really struggling here against the Uruk Halberds and Uruk Bodyguard. But, yeah, see now, what is going on? Now it looks like Gondor's like reforming all their stuff out here rather than up there on the hill with the rest of the defenders. I'm very confused. I'm very confused right now. Oh my gosh, the shield wall push right there by the Mortal Chosen is getting a little bit intense. Shield wall pushes are, of course, still very, very potent in this patch. Definitely, though, the attackers have started to turn things back around in their favor. They're not quite winning the percentage yet, but it's definitely very close though. It's within 2% now. Jeez, the Mortal Chosen just pushing their way through right there. Definitely, I am hoping that the next patch will fix the shield wall issue. Veterans of Osgiliath, Winged Swordsmen, and more Lost Knuckles are being committed here. We'll see how that goes. Middle Rangers just getting whittled down by the Temple Guard and Mordor and Mornon bows. But the Temple Guard have actually taken a surprising amount of losses. But then again, I mean, the Nimerdal Rangers are AP and do have AP arrows. Oh, but over there, the Abrazanim and Nardua Wib are also taking some pretty heavy losses. Our archers are just sitting there. More Mordor Mornon bows and Mordor Bodyguard. And back here is probably... I don't know what happened to the Temple Inquisitors that Esgal Nordir has. They might actually be committed to the fight, and I just have been completely blind to it this whole time. But I don't know. Let's take a look. No, they're about to be committed to the fight. This does not bode well for the defenders, because Temple Inquisitors make both Havengard and Sons of Argonath look like orc fodder. I mean, seriously, the Temple Inquisitors are just so strong. But then again, that's pretty much what Mordor's all about, is a lot of low mid-tier units that are relatively cheap with very, very expensive, very, very good high-tier units. So you're going to take a lot of losses, you're going to have a lot of troops on the field, but because of your elites, you should... Their main killing power is, of course, in the elites, so I'm trying to say. Sometimes words are hard. Only one Olaghai left. Looks like the Maidens finally retreating most of their forces. Abrazanin or Dua Wib are now out of ammo. The nice thing about these guys is they do actually have a shield, where they can block melee. Makes them a little bit more potent in melee. Looks like the Temple Inquisitors are oh my goodness. A flanking unit of Temple Inquisitors is just terrible for any defense, no matter what the heck you have defending. Unless it's something like the Elder Palace Guard, of course. I mean, if these Gondorian Winged Swordsmen are committed against these Temple Inquisitors, it's just gonna be... Oh my gosh. I almost hope that they are committed against the... Yes, they are going to be against Temple Inquisitors, just because of how quickly you guys are going to see these Winged Swordsmen just drop. 52 and on the charge. Already losing that many, and it's not going to stop there. You can see so many of the poor Gondorian Winged Swordsmen just dropping already. Winged Swordsmen... Or no, the Temple Inquisitors only lost 2. Winged Swordsmen are down 37 and the original 52 just a second ago. Actually, both units of Winged Swordsmen have been committed here, and both are going to be destroyed very, very quickly. Eric Bodyguard and Mordor and Mordor bows flanking around right now. These defending Gondorian forces. Again, kind of at a loss as to why the Gondor player did not retreat all of his forces up here with the rest of the units here. But again, maybe it was I don't know. Talon Knights, Sons of Argonath, Wardens of the White Tower, Citadel Bodyguard, Guard. Still got a decent amount of troops up here. Haven Guard, of course, who have not seen combat. But there's still also the Temple Inquisitors of not only Esgal Nordir, but also of Lord of Nothing that have not really fought very much at all. Over here you can see the winged swordsmen have been pretty much taken out. That one unit is down to 9, the other is down to 24. So poor Gondorian winged swordsmen being butchered by Temple Inquisitors. But again, that is what the Temple Inquisitors are best at. They are very expensive, so you should obviously expect them to be this good. You've got like 50 attack, 40 something defense with like 3 hit points. And I believe both the Haven Guard and some of Argonath only have like 37 attack with 40 something defense and 3 hit points. So yeah, obviously the Temple Inquisitors if it was 1v1. But again, 1v1 like unit versus unit is not at all is not at all what matters in terms of like faction strengths and stuff. It's more just the faction overall, so obviously. But yeah, this is pretty much all of Esgal Nordir's army that he's got left. He really took a lot of losses right there on that hill, but he was able to break through. But he did take a lot of losses, is the thing. Temple Inquisitors at 66, taking out all of the winged swordsmen. They're going to continue on and take out all these Shield Fountain Guard, Veterans of Osgiliath, Guards of Osgiliath, and Veterans of Osgiliath from behind. 35, 34 dismounted Swan Knights looks like that ran away. Are going to try to flank these Temple Inquisitors, but they're going to just not have a very fun time doing that. That was definitely not something that I would enjoy, even if I was a dismounted Swan Knight. You can actually see that the Numenorian Shadow Guard of Lord of Nothing are now in range and begin firing on the defense. This one Veteran of Osgiliath. Let's see. Come on, Veteran of Osgiliath, you're cool. You're a veteran. You should be able to take out this Warren for a Calvary. Unless he's nope. Oh, okay, he's dead. He got surrounded by the Numenorian Shadow Guard and he's dead. We'll take a look over here now at what once was the flanking one of the ramps defended by Dol Amroth. You can see that there's still Ologhai that are completely fine. A lot of elite units that are actually completely fine. 2 units of Morgul Chosen. Uruk Bodyguard, Morgul Chosen. Sauron's Will, Shield Guard, and of course the Temple Inquisitors who have not fought whatsoever at all. So Lord of Nothing right now is definitely going to be the deciding factor for the attackers, especially because the defenders do not have a lot left. But again, look at the time. I mean, the time is running out. So I don't know. Oh, it's just so close. It's still now the attackers actually have turned the percentage back around in their favor. You can see that, but they're not winning by very much. It's still within 4%. But over here, you can see that the poor Gondorians were just completely wiped. Away by the flanking units of Mordor. There's still 66 Temple Inquisitors, but they are taking some actually decent amount of archer fire from those Narn archers. That's good, but I mean, there's 2 units of very healthy Numenorian Shadow Guard here that are returning fire with very, very much interest. And these Numenor Royal Archers are very, very wisely running away, because against those 2 Numenorian Shadow Guard, they will be decimated fairly quickly, even though they are a very elite archer unit. For Umbar, that is. Well, for a man-ish faction. Fountain Guard seem to be setting up the first line of defense, even though they are facing the wrong way. There's also backed up by some Talon Knights, and then back here we've got the rest of the stuff. The Belfalas Marines, and Haven Guard, and the... I just don't know, because I think they've got a decent amount of elites left, but because of the just sheer amount of numbers that the attackers have left, I do not know if they're actually going to be able to do it, especially because of how much skirmish power that the attackers actually have left, especially because they could just like set up an archer unit like right over there and just be able to get a nice arcing shot right onto these elite units that are left, especially these shock infantry units like the Haven Guard and some Argonath. The Belfast Marines will be very, very important. Even though there are Orlog high, I would definitely use them against the things like Temple Inquisitors, because that's definitely the most elite units that the attackers have left. You can see that the final defense out here has been swept away, and the Mordor armies are now beginning to march forward to begin the final assault of this camp. Yeah, I think it's like a camp. It looks cool though. I don't know. I've talked too much. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, you can see that the attackers have taken some pretty heavy losses, with the exception, of course, of Lord Argonath. He really hasn't taken very many losses at all. I mean, he did send like 1 or 2 waves up here, but for the most part, he still has most of his army left. Oh, the Nimrodel Rangers actually? Oh no, I thought for a second that the Nimrodel Rangers might have actually... Maybe they did. The Nimrodel Rangers may have been able to retreat fully, but I don't know. Do not know. Oh. Oh, what is this? A secret pathway, but leads to... Okay, never mind. It doesn't go anywhere. I was like, I wonder if Gondor would be able to actually bring their units around this way instead. That'd be interesting. Those Urks, those 5 Urks are gonna go exploring. They're gonna go down there and see what's up. As the first wave of Mordor attackers begins to assault this final stand of the good factions. I think I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up just a little bit while the attackers are getting there. But I mean, look at the time. I don't know. I don't think there was a rule if the timer ran out, one of the certain factions won. So I don't really know what's going to end up happening actually. Harbingers of Castamere, Abrazam, and Arduzagar are sitting there. Looks like they're actually going to be the first line of defense. A lot of Uruk bodyguard left. A lot of Uruk bodyguard actually. Temple Inquisitors. Ooh, those guys are just so nasty. Talon Knights, backed up by the Umbar forces. Nice downhill charge right there by the Narduzagar and Harbingers. Ooh, taking out a decent amount of those Mordor and bows compared to bodyguard. Talon Knights will be able to do fairly decently. Somewhat similar, they're actually somewhat similar to the White Tower. However, I believe you can bring 2 of them for a price increase, so their stats might be a little bit different. Well, obviously they're going to be a little bit different. They're a completely different unit. Anyway, Wardens of the White Tower now being committed. I am a big fan of the Wardens of the White Tower. I think they look very cool. I like all the Thunder units. Then again, I like all of the other units. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, there's the general, actually, of Tundra's Fox right there fighting against the Narduzagar. So we may see the second attacking general go down. I believe they would actually be the second general on the whole, but I don't know how it's going to go down because there's the... I don't know. We'll see if these Narduzagar are able to take out Tundra's Fox's general. Oh, close. Yes, there he goes. Got taken out by an Abrazan and Narduzagar. Great. Oh, please. Don't throw the javelins. I mean, these are Uruk bodyguard, which are not a bad unit at all. Please wait. Please wait to throw the javelins until you can throw them at the Temple Inquisitors. The Temple Inquisitors might be here. I might just be blind. Temple Guard is here. But I don't see the Temple Inquisitors. So I don't know. Ah, man. See, yeah, I really would not be. I do not think it's wise to throw the javelins quite yet. I mean, stopping there, I think would be fine. You just need to commit some more units here so you don't get pushed through right away. You have to be careful of the shield wall push and everything. In that case, maybe you would want to throw javelins, but for the most part, I would very much consider waiting until the Inquisitors get here. Because the Inquisitors are just so very elite. Oh, 5%. It's just getting so close, but the time is running out. Shield Guard. Yeah, most of Lord of Nothing's forces are still just sitting here. I assume he still has to attack in waves, which is why he's not bringing forward all of his forces quite yet. Because he was, of course, one of the flanking armies, which means he had to attack in waves. Belfast Marines, please tell me Please tell me you're not out of ammo. They're out of ammo. Dang it. And just like that, the Inquisitor is going to have free reign to just get in the melee and just cause havoc amongst the last of the defenders. But, I mean, I don't know. The defenders still do have a lot of elites left. So the units of the Inquisitors might be able to be taken out. So yeah, Temple Inquisitors are right there. There's 50 left. Maybe they were throwing javelins at them. I hope so they were. I hope that they were. I don't actually know what happened to the two units of Shadow Guard, though. Surprised they're not really firing at this blob of troops. Right here, defending troops, I mean. Naru and our Royal Archers just sitting there waiting. They are, of course, pretty decent in melee. But also, one thing that I really sincerely hope the defenders do not do is leave these 3 units here until they're the very last units. You have to commit them here to strengthen this line when it is needed. But not before. Not before, but you can't do it so late that they're the last units, because they will just get surrounded and stun locked without getting rid of the kills. I mean, the Sons of Argonath already have a decent amount of kills, but they haven't got far at all, so. They could also just be waiting, though, to commit against the Temple Inquisitors, which would be very interesting to see. Okay, looks like this is going to be the final push now from the attackers. Bring forward Lord of Nothing's now bring forward everything he has left. The very last thing he has looks like are the Temple Inquisitors. Some Uruk. There's some. Oh, Pasternak. Pasternak has his 9 Uruk archers left over. They're firing fire arrows, probably trying to break the morale of the last of the defenders. I can't speak of the final of the last of the defenders. That makes no sense. I meant to say of the final defenders or of the last defenders, but I said both, so you'll have to forgive me. Anyway, I want to try to find the Temple Inquisitors. Temple Guard down to 15 now. Temple Inquisitors at 35. So definitely have taken losses. Ooh, I don't know. Oh man, I just really hope that the Sons of Argonath and Isengard will be committed before this line of Talon Knights and everything like that is broken. Otherwise, it's going to be just kind of a complete waste, because I don't think that they'll be able to pretty much take out all of Lord of Nothing stuff without having the support of all these units here. But okay, yeah, it does look like the Sons of Argonath of Marty Grey Mantle, as well as the Fountain Guard here, are going to be committed, so that's definitely very wise of him. Fountain Guard are winded, but the Sons of Argonath are eager, or fresh, fresh I should say, so it should be okay. There's still 30 Abrazan and Arduzagard, but I believe most all of the casting is dead now. Waghai, backed up by some Numenor and Shield Guard, and there's another unit of Shield Guard, 2 units of Sauron's Will, 2 units of Mordor Chosen, Mordor Heavy Maulers, Mordor Chosen, and finally the Temple Inquisitors that have not fought at all. Oh no, there's another. There's a completely unit of Mordor, Morna, and Halberds back here, as well as 2 units of Mordor, Morna, and Halberds just sitting back there. But the time is so close. The time is so close. I don't know what's gonna go on first. I don't know if the attackers will be able to win this, or if the time will go out. Because I don't think the defenders have enough left to quickly take out all of the attackers. So right now, I feel like either the time is going to go out or the attackers are going to win. I don't know. Belfast Marines are committed. Sons of Argonath are there, obviously. Please tell me. Isengard, get in there. Get in there, Isengard. You need to fight. They need to help out. They have to if they want to have any chance of winning this. Because if they're left to be the last unit, they're not going to be able to get very many kills at all. They'll just get surrounded and stuff. So that's so many times now, but just because I want them to be committed so badly. Corsair Blackguards. Ooh, I forgot about these guys. The Corsair Blackguards, they still have javelins left. If they can use these against the Temple Inquisitors, the defenders might actually have a chance of winning this, but it looks like the Temple Inquisitors are just sitting back there. I also believe the Numenor and Shadowguard are just hiding somewhere over there. I don't think they're actually, or at least I'd be very surprised if they were. The Royal Archers now being committed in melee. Come on, Isengard, you have to be committed against these shield wall pushes, otherwise there's going to be 0 chance of victory for the defenders. Come on, Isengard. Okay, there we go. Good job, Inquisitors. Committing your Haven Guard. Nice downhill charge right there. That's going to be very good for them, especially because they haven't been fighting at all, which is a luxury the Sons of Argonath have not had. Oh, you can already see one of the Olog going down to the Haven Guard. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, they're getting just pushed so hard, so hard. Yeah, they're probably going to have to just fire the Courser Blackguards at probably like the Mordor Chosen or Shield Guard just because they're pushing so very hard. Over here is starting to get really thin as well. Temple Inquisitors completely healthy, but I believe the other unit is pretty much taken out. It's been taken out. Temple Guard still at 15, but the Temple Inquisitors 28. Actually, still has a decent amount left. Oh yes, excellent play right there by Starling, targeting those. Did you see that? See, this is why the Blackguards, Courser Blackguards, are just so deadly. They're an excellent javelin unit. This completely healthy unit of Temple Inquisitors was marching forward. There were at 78 left in the unit, and after just a couple of volleys, already down to 46. Very smart play right there by Starling. I'm hoping he will continue targeting those Temple Inquisitors. And yes, he is. Very excellent. I mean, did you just see the Blackguard kind of were missing a little bit there? They just took out so many rows of those Mordor heavy maulers right there. That was intense. 42 Inquisitors left. But, oh man, see, look how. Why? Blackguard must be out of ammo now. Trying to stop this. Trying to stop the bleeding right here of this hole that's been created right here. It looks like the Hammer are trying to do the same, but it looks like, oh my gosh, the time and the frames, I don't know. I just don't know. This has just been such an amazing battle. I'm really happy that Asgelmir was kind enough to send me a replay. Such a great battle. And something that's kind of interesting to know. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to say that Asgelmir actually sent me this through Discord, and Heath Horton, or just Horton88, has his own Discord called the Spawn of Sauron, and that is an entirely custom scenario oriented Discord server for Third Age Reforged. So I will definitely go ahead and put the link to that down in the description below, along with the official Reforged Discord, as well as the Reforged DB page. Oh, I mean, look how the attackers have just lost so much here. I mean, the Blackguards are completely healthy. Haven Guard are still strong. Sons of Argonath still at 47. But I just don't know. I just do not know. What's the percentage at? 91 to 94. The attackers are still winning by 3%, but it is just so very close. So close. Oh, but I don't know, because the Numenor and Shadowguard are now firing to the flanks of these units. Looks like the Naru and Aru Royal Archers are leaving the melee, hopefully to try to target those Numenor and Shadowguard, but I don't know. And I think that I don't know what happened to the two units of Uruk Halberds back there, because they're just gone. Unless they were no, they're just marching around. Okay, they're marching around. Oh man, the time. Look at that. I can't even see the time. Oh, but the thing about that, man. Haven Guard still at 90. Just cutting down people left and right. Oh my goodness, this has been just such an insanely good battle. The Naru and our Royal Archers, we're just trying to get out of the way of the arrows, looks like. Maybe going to be coming over here, where it's looking a little better. Sons of Argonath looks like they're down to 45. Pretty good. Oh yeah, now the Blackguards are being targeted. They don't have shields, so they're going to take some pretty horrendous losses from it. Very excellent battle. I'm just so happy that this was actually the first scenario that yeah, that's what I'm say. I'm very happy that this was the first scenario that I've actually showed on my channel, mostly just because it's been just such a good one. It's been so very close as we go down to the final 500 frames. 95 to 3%, within 3%. I mean, it's just so close, so close. Isengard's still looking strong, but they're taking a little bit of skirmish fire now from those Mordor and Shadow Guard. Still 1-0 log high left. I don't know where it's a lot of the town knights, but I mean they definitely paid for themselves. I feel like I don't know where I feel like the one unit of Temple Inquisitors might have been completely taken out when I was at like 30 or something. But I don't know what happened to I can't even find the other unit. Oh, that's it. The time ran out. That is it. The time is up. Okay. Oh my goodness, look at this. 879, 2,100, 1,700, 700, 1,800. Gondor getting 4,141 kills. Umbar getting 7,717 kills. And Dol Amroth getting 6,282. Man, that was just so intense. Go ahead and put down in the comments right now, guys. I want you to go put down in the comments who you guys think will win. Because I feel like if left alone, the Defenders would probably be able to win this fight right here. But I do not know if they would have enough left to take out the 2 units of Mordor and Shadow Guard, as well as the 2 units of Mordor and Halberds that were left over. So go ahead and put down in the comments, guys, if you think the attackers would win, or if you guys think the Defenders would have won. So we'll take a quick look at the exact kills of Esgail Nordir and the other Mordor armies. So it looks like this was not his. This is one of the other Mordor armies. This is not Esgail Nordir's. Mordor and Halberds got a lot of kills. Temple Guard, this was Esgail Nordir. Mordor on bows, and Temple Inquisitors doing the best. Unsurprising there. The Halberds all doing very good. Urk Bodyguard, Mordor Chosen. Ooh, man. That was just such an intense battle. I loved that. That was just such a good battle. I enjoyed that so very much. Anyway, so that pretty much concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you didn't, just tell me what I did wrong. I'll be sure to fix it for the next video. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.